What up, y'all? This is Patrick Hayes, and in this video what I want to talk about is the 3 different stages of self-mastery regarding our capacity to remain emotionally balanced. And I want to talk about this because I feel like emotional balance is such an important aspect to life in general, especially if our goal is to make this world a better place. Just briefly, because if we're not emotionally balanced, not only do we perceive things incorrectly, we perceive them through a lens of threat or fear, but we make incorrect decisions. We make destructive decisions. So it's really important for us to focus on how to remain emotionally balanced and develop our skills and abilities to remain emotionally balanced so that when triggers come up, we can continue to make good decisions in our life and not perpetuate negative energy out in the world. I mean, one of the really simplified ways that I look at, say like my mission on planet Earth is simply to transmute negative things into positive things. So, we're in this world where there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of destruction, there's a lot of unease and negative emotions and bad vibes. And I feel like to be somebody that makes a difference in really simple general terms is somebody that goes around and cleans that shit up. And we clean it up by being able to transmute those vibes. So the first step of being able to transmute negative vibes in the world is being able to transmute them within ourselves. You can kind of look at it as there's people running around every single day and they're putting, pluses out or minuses out, right? All the pluses cancel out other minuses. And the minuses cancel out other pluses. So in order for us to transform the world, we need to put enough pluses out there that it not only transmutes all the minuses, but that it starts building on itself. So, if somebody's like rude to you or does something ugly to you, if you take that energy and then you keep putting it out, you put out more rudeness or ugliness in the world, then you're basically just spreading the problem around. So the goal is to be able to take these things that are triggering and ugly and then transmute them into something beautiful. And so what I want to talk about in this video is basically the 3 different stages of mastering that technique of being able to turn something that was a trigger into something that you alchemize and then express as beauty. So I broke this down into 3 stages. The first stage is resilience. And resilience is basically like, how quick can you get back to your center after you get knocked off? So someone says something that was really insulting to you and it makes you spin off inside your head and you get all upset, especially if it's somebody that's close to you or somebody that really knows how to push your buttons. And but your resilience is your ability to move back into balance once you've been knocked off balance, right? And this is very much the first stage. So anytime we're targeting a particular trigger, a particular area where we want to improve our emotional balance, we first start focusing on resilience. How quickly can we get back into balance? So we put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, or if they come up on a regular basis, we just wait for them to come up, and then we practice our ability to get back into balance once we get knocked out. And what happens over time is we get faster and faster at bringing ourselves back into balance. And then we start developing the second stage, which is called robustness. And robustness is eventually the stage where it's hard to get knocked out of balance, because we respond and we come back so quickly that it even starts to be like instantaneous. So when somebody starts saying something insulting, we can feel the energy right in the beginning of that insult, and then automatically we know how to switch the frame and interpret it in a way where we don't get triggered. This takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, but eventually it's something that we can develop. We can become robust, and then we can't get moved around by triggers as much. And again, all these different triggers are in different domains. So some people may not get triggered at all. They might be super robust when it comes to being insulted by other people. But, if they get caught in traffic, they might completely lose it. So you realize that this process of moving through these stages is more or less isolated to specific domains. But at the same time, it has quite a bit of crossover if you learn to consciously cross them over. So stage 2, robustness. This is basically where we start becoming solid and the things don't push us off anymore. And this is a good stage to be in because this is the stage where we're basically no longer at the whim of other people's energy. At this stage, we're basically taking that minus and we're turning it into like a 0, right? We're not being affected by it. We're transmuting it, right? Back to neutral. So this is like, we start actually being a cleanup service at this point, because we're not spreading the issue on. We're not spreading the negative vibe out into the world. And robustness is a major accomplishment. And anyone that's actually ever gone through this, when you get to the point where something that used to trigger you a lot doesn't trigger you anymore, it's like totally relieving. You feel like you've made a lot of progress. But it's not the place where we should stop. I encourage us to take it a little bit further and move into a space of, like I said, alchemy or transformation. And this is where we actually start taking that energy and transforming the negative energy into something positive. And this will be the next stage. So the first stage, we start reframing, we learn how to balance ourselves, come back into balance. The second stage, it stops bothering us because we can utilize those techniques almost instantaneously when the trigger comes up. And the third one really starts incorporating aspects of appreciation, of gratitude, and of compassion, so that when these things come up, we actually have a response that's positive to it. So it's not just a stoic response that doesn't get moved around, but it's actually like a positive, transformative kind of energy that is triggered from these experiences that used to negatively trigger us. So somebody insults us, but we actually really find insults to ourselves hilarious at this point. So we start hysterically laughing. And then the other person starts laughing too, because it's an infectious energy and it transforms the entire environment. Or we've learned that through this process of transmuting our triggers, that we develop more strength in our character, so that what happens is when negative circumstances come up in our life, we immediately start feeling gratitude, because we know that this is a seed for greater transformation. This is a seed that is going to grow into greater strength for us, right? So when negative things happen, we immediately can start feeling grateful for it. And then we can transform the energy of the entire experience because we're responding to it with gratitude. This also gives us the opportunity to see all of the blessings or the potential opportunities in this misfortune, because we're operating from a space of gratitude, which gives us better sense-making skills, and it gives us better discernment and opportunity-seeking skills. Now, a great example I like to use is that of martial arts. Martial arts it's like a physical example to a certain degree of what I'm talking about. A really good Aikido master or martial arts master will take the aggressive onslaught coming from a potential harmful aggressor, and he will repurpose that energy somewhere else. And a really good master won't even use any of their own energy. They remain in their balance point and take all of the momentum from the other person and just repurpose that energy right back at that person or away from them. So it's very much like that when we become transformative or alchemical like that. When negative things come in, we can very easily from our center just repurpose that energy in a positive way. So it's like energy is energy, right? It can't be destroyed, but it can be transformed. So we're learning how to remain balanced and then transform energy as it comes in. And the process of that starts with resilience, stage 1, getting back into center when we get knocked out, learning the techniques to bring us back into center quickly. Then stage 2, robustness, being able to hold our center so we can stay balanced when things are bouncing up against it. And then from that balance point, we can start cultivating the ability to transform or alchemize things when they come in our direction. Because we're balanced, we don't get knocked off, we don't get shaken. And when things come that are negative in our direction, we can then remain in that balance point, see the opportunity in it, and then find the center of gravity and spin it back around in our favor. And then that would be mastering that particular trigger or that particular area of emotional alchemy. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will talk to you next time. And if you're interested in being notified when I release videos, go ahead and hit that bell button and you'll get a notification next time I release a video. Much love.